Hey everyone, and welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Today we're going to crack open a book that's been whispered about for years.
Yeah, in the boardrooms and back alleys.
Exactly. It's Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. This deep dive is going to be your shortcut to understanding the rules of the game.
Right.
Whether you are playing checkers or chess.
Mm-hmm.
We've got all 48 laws and a mountain of historical examples from Greene's book to unpack.
Yeah, we're going to unpack all of them.
So let's just dive right into law number 1.
Okay.
Never outshine the master.
Right.
Greene uses the story of Nicolas Fouquet to illustrate this law.
Yeah.
Fouquet was the finance minister for King Louis XIV.
Uh-huh.
And he decided to throw this insane party for the king.
Oh, wow.
I mean, think Versailles on steroids.
Really?
He spared no expense, but he ended up imprisoned.
So what went wrong?
Yeah, what went wrong?
Well, Fouquet forgot a fundamental rule of power.
Okay.
Those in charge need to feel like they're in charge.
Oh.
By outshining the king, he triggered Louis's insecurities. And he paid the price.
That's a tough lesson to learn the hard way.
Definitely.
So it's not enough to just be competent.
Right.
You got to make your boss feel brilliant, too.
Make the boss feel like the star.
Exactly. Instead of trying to impress your boss by being the smartest person in the room, you should position yourself as a learner.
Mm-hmm.
Make them feel like you're eager to learn from their expertise.
Yeah, that's good.
Subtly highlight their brilliance.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Make the boss feel like a genius.
Yeah.
Not a has-been.
Not a has-been.
On to law 2.
Okay.
Never put too much trust in friends.
Right.
Learn how to use enemies.
Okay.
Now that sounds counterintuitive,
It does.
if not downright dangerous.
Well, it might sound crazy, but think about it.
Okay.
Friends, especially in the context of power, can become rivals. Envy and resentment fester.
Yeah.
And they know your weaknesses better than anyone.
Wow.
Greene uses the example of Michael III of the Byzantine Empire, who was betrayed by his closest confidant.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So who can you trust in this game of power?
Well, former enemies, surprisingly enough.
Right.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
They have more to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Their loyalty comes from wanting to demonstrate they're on your side now.
Okay.
And since they were once opposed to you, they have valuable insights into your opponent's thinking.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So a little friction in the past can actually be beneficial in the long run.
Yeah,
It's kind of like how Mao Zedong used conflict with the Japanese to train his communist army.
exactly. Sometimes a little healthy competition can push everyone to perform at their best.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm.
Moving on to law 3,
Okay.
conceal your intentions.
All right.
This sounds straight out of a spy thriller.
It's all about misdirection.
Okay.
Think of a magician.
Okay.
They use smoke and mirrors to distract you from their sleight of hand. In the world of power,
Okay.
you achieve your goals by keeping people guessing about your true motives.
So Greene talks about Yellow Kid Weil.
Uh-huh.
He was a con artist who staged a whole boxing match
Wow.
as a distraction to swindle a businessman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some next level deception.
Yeah. Weil understood the power of a good smokescreen. By the time his victim realized what was happening,
Right.
it was too late.
Too late.
In your own life, you might not need to stage a boxing match,
Right.
but the principle remains the same.
Okay.
Don't reveal your end game until you're ready to make your move.
Gotcha. Speaking of keeping things under wraps, Law 4, always say less than necessary.
Yes.
I have a feeling I could benefit from this one.
I think we all could.
Really?
Silence can be a powerful weapon.
Uh-huh.
It creates an aura of mystery and intrigue. People are drawn to those who hold their cards close to the chest.
Right.
Think of figures like Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, known for his enigmatic silence.
It's almost like silence gives your words more weight when you do choose to speak.
Exactly. Makes you seem more deliberate.
Right.
More in control.
Yeah.
Think about it when someone is constantly chattering. Their words lose their impact.
Oh, yeah.
But someone who chooses their words carefully commands attention and respect.
Definitely Law 5 is a stark reminder
Yeah.
that so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life.
Right.
Greene tells the story of Midzusia.
Uh-huh.
This guy's good deeds were twisted against him once his reputation was tarnished.
Reputation is like a house of cards.
Yeah.
One wrong move, and it can all come crashing down.
Wow.
You've got to be vigilant in protecting your image.
Right.
And these days, with social media amplifying everything, it's even more crucial.
It's almost like you're building a brand, both personally and professionally. Right. And just like any brand, your reputation needs constant attention and protection.
Absolutely. One careless action, one ill-considered post can undo years of careful image building.
Wow.
Think about how quickly a scandal can derail a career, no matter how talented the person may be.
That's true. Next up, Law 6, court attention at all cost. Now, this sounds like a recipe for some seriously bad decisions.
Well, it's not about being reckless, but understanding that in a world saturated with information, you have to be bold to stand out. P.T. Barnum was a master of this.
Oh, yeah.
He knew how to use spectacle and controversy to get people talking.
He's the guy who coined the phrase, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
That's the one. Now, that might not always be true,
Right.
but Barnum understood that attention, even negative attention, is a form of power.
Okay.
In today's world, think about how social media influencers thrive on controversy and viral moments.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same principle at play.
So, true law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Andrew Carnegie, the steel tycoon, built his empire on this, didn't he?
He was a master delegator. He knew how to leverage the talents of others while ensuring he received the accolades.
That sounds a bit, well, ruthless.
It can be, but it's a strategy that's as old as time. Think about the pharaohs who had thousands of slaves building their pyramids.
Right.
The key, ethically speaking, is to ensure everyone involved is treated fairly
Okay.
and receives their due recognition.
So, delegate effectively, but always give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
Got it. Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Napoleon's exile to Elba comes to mind.
That's a classic example of strategic retreat by making himself scarce. Napoleon actually increased his desirability. When he returned, he was greeted as a hero, not a defeated exile.
It's almost like the playing hard to get concept, but on a grand historical scale.
Exactly. It's about scarcity and perceived value.
Right.
Think about how luxury brands create exclusivity to drive demand.
Yeah.
The less available something is, the more desirable it becomes.
Okay, Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. I can already tell this is going to be a favorite.
This one is all about letting your results speak for themselves. Actions carry far more weight than words, especially in the arena of power. Greene uses the example of Michelangelo, who won the commission for the David not by boasting, but by silently demonstrating his skill.
It's like the saying, talk is cheap.
Exactly.
In the end, it's your actions that define you, not your promises or boasts.
Right. Imagine a politician who constantly makes grand promises, but never delivers. Their words become meaningless.
Right.
But a leader who consistently takes action, who gets things done, commands respect and loyalty.
Law 10 is one I could definitely relate to, infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Greene talks about Lola Montez, whose negativity practically destroyed the court of King Ludwig of Bavaria.
This one is all about protecting your mental and emotional space.
Right.
Surround yourself with positive-driven people.
Yeah.
Because negativity, like a virus, can spread quickly and infect your outlook and your chances of success.
It's like they say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose your circle wisely.
Absolutely. The company you keep can either lift you up or drag you down. Choose to surround yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your growth.
Okay, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Law 11, learn to keep people dependent on you. This feels like walking a tightrope.
It's about understanding the delicate balance of power in relationships.
Right.
The more indispensable you make yourself, the more influence you wield.
But there's a fine line between being valuable and being manipulative, right?
Absolutely. Think about a mentor who genuinely wants to see their mentee succeed.
Okay.
They provide guidance and support, but ultimately encourage independence.
So it's about empowering others, not controlling them.
Exactly.
On to Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim.
Oh.
That sounds like a con artist's playbook.
It can be, but it's also about understanding the power of surprise and strategic kindness.
Okay.
Greene tells the story of Victor Lustig, who managed to win over Al Capone, of all people.
Wow.
With a well-timed act of honesty.
Wait, so you're saying honesty can be a weapon?
In a way, yes, a genuine act of kindness, especially when it's unexpected, can catch someone off guard and lower their defenses.
Like you're disarming them with niceness.
Exactly. It creates a sense of obligation and makes them more receptive to your influence.
This is getting fascinating.
Yeah.
Let's
it is.
Let's dive into the next set of laws.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We're just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Okay. Are we ready for more laws of power?
Oh, yeah. We're ready to unveil some seriously potent laws of power.
I'm ready.
Okay. Where were we?
Right. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude.
So no sob stories.
No sob stories.
Straight to the what's in it for you pitch.
Exactly. Greene uses the example of the Athenians persuading Corcyra to form an alliance.
Okay.
They didn't plead for help. They laid out precisely how the alliance would benefit Corcyra.
That makes sense. People are much more likely to lend a hand if they see it serving their own goals,
Right.
even if it's also helping you. It's not about being manipulative. It's about framing your request in a way that resonates with the other person's motivations.
Okay.
Find that common ground.
Law 14 feels a little cloak and dagger. Pose as a friend, work as a spy.
Knowledge is power, and sometimes you need to be strategic about gathering it.
Right.
Greene talks about the art dealer Joseph Duveen, who meticulously researched Andrew Mellon's art preferences before approaching him as a friend
Correct.
and future client.
So it's about doing your homework, understanding who you're dealing with before you even make contact.
Exactly. It's about being observant, asking subtle questions, and reading between the lines. Information is gold, especially when it comes to navigating the nuances of power.
Law 15 is a bit intense. Crush your enemy. Totally. Just as our Borgia, a ruthless Italian prince, took this to heart.
This law is about decisiveness.
Okay.
And recognizing that sometimes a half victory is worse than a loss.
Oh.
Leaving an enemy with even a sliver of power can come back to haunt you.
But isn't there a risk of becoming the very monster you're trying to defeat?
That's the moral dilemma at the heart of many of these laws.
Right.
It's not about advocating cruelty,
Right.
but about recognizing that in the game of power, sometimes you need to be ruthless to survive.
It's about choosing your battles.
Yeah.
And understanding the potential consequences.
Absolutely.
Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. This almost sounds like a dating strategy.
It can be applied in many contexts.
Okay.
The principle is simple. Scarcity increases value.
Right.
When you're constantly present, your value diminishes.
Mm-hmm.
But when you make yourself scarce, you become more desirable, more sought after.
Okay.
Greene points to Diaeses, the Median king, who retreated into his palace, creating an aura of mystery and power around himself.
It's almost like building anticipation.
Precisely. Think about how a musician who releases albums infrequently generates more buzz than one who's constantly putting out new music.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Law 17 is all about keeping people guessing. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Bobby Fischer, the chess prodigy, was infamous for this.
Predictability is the enemy of power.
Okay.
When people can anticipate your every move, they can easily outmaneuver you.
Right.
But if you keep them guessing, you maintain the upper hand.
So throw in a curveball every now and then.
Exactly. Keep your opponents off balance.
Okay.
It's a tactic that's used in everything from warfare to business negotiations.
Law 18. Isolate yourself from your enemy. It sounds like Louis XIV had the right idea with Versailles.
His palace was a masterpiece of control.
Uh-huh.
By isolating himself from the court, he controlled the flow of information and access.
Right.
This law is about minimizing contact with those who drain your energy or pose a threat.
It's about creating boundaries and protecting your mental and emotional space.
Right. Sometimes you need to step away from the noise and distractions to maintain your focus and clarity.
Law 19 seems like common sense. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person.
You'd be surprised how many people fall into this trap.
Really?
It's about understanding that everyone reacts differently to different strategies.
Right.
Some people are quick to forgive, others hold grudges forever.
So it's about reading people and understanding their motivations before you take action.
Exactly. Tailor your approach to the individual. What works on one person might backfire spectacularly on another.
Oh, that's so true.
Right.
Law 20. Do not commit to anyone. It feels like a recipe for loneliness.
It's not about isolating yourself completely, but about understanding the strategic value of independence.
Okay.
When you commit too early or too fully, you limit your options.
Greene talks about Queen Elizabeth I using marriage proposals as diplomatic tools.
Right.
She played the field, kept her options open.
She was a master of this by refusing to commit to any one suitor. She maintained her power and autonomy.
Right.
In a modern context, think about entrepreneurs who avoid taking on investors too early.
Okay.
They want to maintain control of their company and their destiny.
Law 21 feels a little deceptive. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark.
This is a classic con artist tactic. By appearing less intelligent than you actually are, you lull your opponent into a false sense of security.
Like the guys who sold the Eiffel Tower for scrap metal.
Exactly. They played on the greed and naivete of their victims by pretending to be simpletons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Law 22 is a bit of a head-scratcher. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power.
It's about recognizing that sometimes yielding can be more strategic than fighting.
Right.
Greene uses the example of the Athenian siege of Melos. By surrendering, the Melians could have bought time and potentially received aid from Sparta.
So the calculated retreat, a way to regroup and re-strategize.
Exactly. Think about a boxer who takes a knee to recover from a blow. Like, they're not admitting defeat, they're buying time to come back stronger.
Law 23, concentrate. Your forces. This feels relevant in a world of constant distractions.
It's about focusing your energy and resources on your most important goals.
Okay.
Avoid getting bogged down in trivialities or spreading yourself too thin.
Like the Rothschilds, who built their financial empire by concentrating their wealth and influence.
They understood the power of focus. By channeling their resources strategically, they were able to achieve outsized results.
Law 24 is a whole world unto itself. Play the perfect courtier Greene dives deep into the intricate dance of courtly politics.
The court, whether it's a royal court or a corporate boardroom, is a place where power dynamics are constantly at play.
Right.
It's a game of subtle influence, flattery, and strategic alliances.
Could you give me some pointers on how to play this game?
It's about mastering the art of indirection.
Okay.
Your words and actions should be calculated and subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Never directly challenge those in power.
Got it.
Flattery, when done skillfully, can be a powerful tool.
So it's about being a chameleon, adapting to the environment and the players involved.
Exactly. Observe carefully, listen intently, and choose your words and actions strategically.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, discretion is paramount in the world of power.
Law 25, recreate yourself. Isn't that a bit superficial?
Not necessarily think of it as personal branding. Julius Caesar understood the power of crafting a compelling public image.
He orchestrated elaborate spectacles, public displays of generosity, all to cultivate his image.
He was a master of self-invention, and in a world where perception is reality, creating a powerful image is crucial to success.
That's true.
Think about how politicians and celebrities carefully craft their personas.
Law 26, keep your hands clean. This feels like a slippery slope.
It's about protecting your reputation by using intermediaries or scapegoats to handle unsavory tasks.
Greene gives the example of Cao Cao, who used a scapegoat to quell a mutiny in his army.
Exactly. By deflecting blame, he maintained his authority and image of control.
Wow.
It's a tactic that's been used throughout history by politicians, CEOs, and anyone in a position of power.
This is getting intense. Law 27, play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like skull. Following this sounds straight out of a dystopian novel.
Throughout history, charismatic leaders have exploited people's desire for faith and belonging. The alchemist Bragadino, for example, played on Venetian anxieties to gain power and wealth.
So it's about tapping into people's deepest desires, their fears and hopes.
Exactly. By offering simple solutions to complex problems, by promising salvation or a better future, you can gain a devoted following.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Law 28, enter action with boldness. I'm thinking of Casanova, the legendary lover known for his daring and confidence.
Boldness projects confidence and decisiveness, qualities that are magnetic and inspiring.
It's about seizing the initiative, taking calculated risks.
Exactly. Sometimes hesitation is fatal.
Okay.
A bold move executed with precision can tip the scales in your favor.
Law 29 plan, all the way to the end. I have a feeling a lot of people could learn from this one.
Vasco Núñez de Balboa's quest for El Dorado is a cautionary tale of ambition gone awry.
Okay.
He had a grand vision, but he didn't adequately plan for the challenges he would face.
So it's not just about having a goal,
Right.
but anticipating obstacles and having contingency plans.
Exactly. Think of it like a chess game. You need to think several moves ahead, anticipate your opponent's responses, and have backup plans for every scenario.
Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. This sounds exhausting.
It's about concealing the effort behind your achievements.
Okay.
Think of Harry Houdini, who made his death-defying escapes seem effortless despite their complexity.
So it's about making it look easy even when it's not.
Exactly. By downplaying your efforts, you create an aura of mastery and mystique.
Okay, brains are officially fried.
Yeah.
I think we need to pause here and let this all sink in.
Agreed. We'll pick up with the final 18 laws in part 3.
All right, I think I'm ready for the final 18 laws.
Okay, good, because we're about to delve into some seriously cunning strategies.
I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Law 31, control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal.
Ah, the subtle art of manipulation. Give me an example of this in action.
Remember that classic fable of the fox and the crow?
Yeah.
The fox, wanting that crow's cheese, flatters the crow into singing, which causes the crow to drop the cheese.
Wow.
The fox controlled the options, leading the crow to a choice that benefited the fox.
So you're saying it's about subtly influencing choices, framing decisions to your advantage.
Exactly. Think about a salesperson who presents you with limited options,
Okay.
all of which lead you towards the product they want you to buy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right.
Law 32, play to people's fantasies. I'm noticing a pattern here.
Yeah, what's that?
It seems like a lot of these laws revolve around understanding human psychology.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This law recognizes that people often prefer to believe in illusions rather than face harsh realities. Greene uses the example of a lion who demanded excessive mourning for his deceased queen, even though everyone was secretly relieved.
I just like that saying, ignorance is bliss.
Right.
Sometimes a comforting lie is more appealing than a painful truth.
Exactly. Think about advertising campaigns that appeal to our desire for beauty, wealth, or happiness. They're selling us fantasies, but we buy into them because they offer an escape from our everyday lives.
Law 33, discover each man's thumbscrew. This sounds a bit medieval.
It's about identifying and exploiting a person's weakness, their pressure point.
Okay.
Cardinal Richelieu was a master of this. He knew how to manipulate King Louis XIII's insecurities to get what he wanted.
So it's about knowing what makes someone tick, their fears, their desires, their vulnerabilities.
Exactly. Everyone has their weakness, their Achilles heel.
Right.
By understanding these vulnerabilities, you gain leverage.
Okay, Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion act. Like a king to be treated like... So is it just about faking it till you make it?
It's more than that. It's about embodying the qualities of leadership.
Okay.
Confidence, decisiveness, vision.
Right.
Greene contrasts the successful reign of Louis XIV with the disastrous reign of Louis Philippe, who tried to be a citizen king but ended up appearing weak and indecisive.
So it's not just about appearances, but about cultivating the mindset of a leader.
Exactly. People are drawn to those who exude confidence and authority.
Law 35. Master the art of timing. This feels especially relevant in today's fast-paced world.
Patience is a virtue,
Oh.
especially in the game of power. Sometimes it's better to wait for the opportune moment than to rush into action. Think of Christopher Columbus,
Oh, yeah.
who spent years trying to secure funding for his voyage.
He had to be persistent, but he also had to be patient, waiting for the right moment to present his case.
Exactly. There's a time for action and a time for waiting.
Right.
Knowing when to strike is crucial.
Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge.
Yes.
This sounds like a very stoic approach.
It's about recognizing that sometimes the best way to deal with a problem is to simply ignore it.
Okay.
By giving it attention, you give it power.
That's interesting.
Greene uses the example of Joseph Fouché,
Okay.
who navigated the turbulent French Revolution by strategically appearing indifferent to threats and insults.
It's almost like you're starving the problem of oxygen.
Exactly. By refusing to engage you, diminish its importance.
Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. This feels very relevant in the age of social media.
Spectacles are a powerful way to capture attention and create a sense of awe.
Right.
Franz Mesmer used elaborate theatrical performances to demonstrate his theory of animal magnetism.
So it's about creating an experience, something that people will remember and talk about.
Right. Think about how brands use elaborate events and marketing campaigns to generate buzz and excitement.
Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Sounds a bit like conformity.
It's not about sacrificing your individuality, but recognizing that sometimes it's strategically advantageous to blend in.
Right.
Greene uses the fable of a donkey who was punished for revealing his true opinions.
It's a reminder that sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah.
Law 39, stir up waters to catch fish.
Yeah.
I'm getting a sense of mischief from this one.
It's about using chaos and confusion to your advantage. Otto von Bismarck was a master of this.
Okay.
He deliberately provoked Austria to start the Austro-Prussian War, knowing that Prussia would ultimately benefit from the conflict.
So it's about creating a distraction, a diversion to achieve your goals.
Exactly. Sometimes a little bit of disruption can create the opportunity you need to make your move.
Law 40. Despise the free lunch. This sounds like a lesson in financial prudence.
It's about being wary of gifts and favors that come with strings attached.
Right.
There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Greene tells the story of an artisan who became obsessed with a seemingly valuable teacup, only to discover it was worthless.
It's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving.
Yeah.
Always be cautious of offers that seem too good to be true.
Okay. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. This feels particularly relevant for anyone taking over a leadership role.
Alexander the Great deliberately tried to distinguish himself from his father, Philip II of Macedon. He knew that trying to simply imitate his father would lead to comparisons and diminish his own achievements.
It was about forging your own path, establishing your own legacy.
Exactly. Don't try to be a carbon copy of someone else. Embrace your unique strengths and find your own way to shine.
Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. This sounds a bit ruthless, but I guess it's effective.
It's about recognizing that in any group or organization, there are key individuals who hold the power.
Okay.
By targeting the leader, you can dismantle the entire structure.
Greene uses the example of the Athenian practice of ostracism, where individuals who were deemed a threat to the state were exiled.
Exactly. By removing the key player, they eliminated the threat and maintained stability.
Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. This feels more like a leadership principle than a law of power.
It's about understanding the importance of emotional intelligence in leadership.
Okay.
Zhuge Liang, a brilliant Chinese strategist, won over a rebellious tribe not through force, but through patience, understanding, and empathy.
So it's about connecting with people on an emotional level, building trust and rapport.
Exactly. People are more likely to follow someone who understands their needs and aspirations.
Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
This is about using mimicry as a tool of manipulation.
Okay.
By mirroring someone's behavior and emotions, you can disarm them and gain their trust.
Greene tells the story of Alcibiades, who used this technique to charm and manipulate his enemies.
It's a subtle but powerful way to influence people.
Okay.
By reflecting their behavior back at them, you create a sense of connection and rapport.
Law 45. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once.
Yes.
This feels particularly relevant in today's rapidly changing world.
Change can be disruptive even when it's necessary.
Right.
Greene uses the example of King Henry VIII's break with the Catholic Church, which led to widespread turmoil and unrest.
So it's about introducing change, gradually allowing people to adapt at their own pace.
Exactly. Trying to force change too quickly will inevitably lead to resistance and backlash.
Law 46. Never appear too perfect. Perfect. Isn't that counterintuitive?
It can seem that way.
Don't we want to strive for perfection?
In the context of power dynamics, perfection can be intimidating and provoke envy.
Okay.
Greene cites the tragic downfall of Joe Wharton, who was murdered by his partner Kenneth Halliwell out of jealousy.
So it's about showing a bit of vulnerability, making yourself relatable.
Exactly. Allowing people to see your flaws, your imperfections, makes you more human and less threatening.
Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, learn when to stop this. This feels like a lesson in self-control.
It is. Vasco Núñez de Balboa, despite his discovery of the Pacific Ocean, was driven by relentless ambition to find El Dorado.
Right.
This ultimately led to his execution.
It's a reminder that greed and overreaching can lead to ruin.
Yeah.
Knowing when to stop when you've achieved your goal is crucial.
Exactly. Don't let success blind you to the potential pitfalls of pushing your luck too far.
And finally, Law 48. Assume formlessness. This sounds a bit abstract. What does Greene mean by this?
It's about adaptability, fluidity.
Okay.
The ability to change and evolve with the circumstances. He uses the analogy of the game of Go, which emphasizes strategic flexibility over rigid structures.
So it's about being like water adapting to the shape of the container flowing around obstacles.
Exactly. Rigidity makes you brittle, but fluidity allows you to bend without breaking. It's a principle that applies not just to power dynamics, but to life in general.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. What a journey.
It has been a journey.
So what's the takeaway from all of this?
Yeah.
Are we all supposed to become Machiavellian masterminds now?
That's not the point. These laws are a framework for understanding the dynamics of power, how it's gained, how it's lost, how it's used and abused.
Right.
It's about recognizing the games people play so you can avoid becoming a pawn in their game.
It's about awareness, self-protection, and using this knowledge ethically to achieve your goals.
Exactly. Power, like any tool, can be used for good or evil.
Right.
The choice is ultimately yours.
Well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the 48 laws of power.
It's been a fascinating exploration.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, we encourage you to reflect on these laws, think about how they're playing out in your own lives, and use this knowledge wisely. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of your understanding.